Okie dokie. It's 6:57, June 22nd, 2024. This is the Tokyo Shemp Show. Hey, how's everybody going? It's so early that I don't really have the energy to say anything. Yet, somehow, I'm on the microphone. It's the time, you know how time speeds up? Well, it can also slow down, so it's still 6:57. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I don't edit anything. I just have this philosophy in which everything must be in the moment. I figured out that the internet is completely controlled by the US military and the militaries of the other countries. I don't believe there is really global conflict the way it is presented. Nothing being shown to us based on my master's degree in sociology. None of it is real. None of it is legitimate. There's zero democracy. This is fascism. America is not alone. Everywhere is fascism. Part of the divide and conquer has been to present, like, oh, there's the groovy Europe that is so much more enlightened than those British Americanos across the pondage. Yeah, I noticed that one. I went junior year abroad to Ireland. I'm a Northeast kid. I went junior year abroad to Ireland and I loved it. And I went back, and that's where I got my master's degree in sociology. They call it social theory over there. That sounds pretty cool, don't it? Social theory? Sounds a lot better, I think, than sociology. But the meaning of my channel, none of it is to promote me because none of us lives forever. What lives forever is immaterial. There's spiritual and material. All of it, everything we share, all of this is material. And when we transcend it, that's when we experience the friendship, the empathy, the good vibes, the good feelings. We cannot live that way. The how it's the power structure of it. I went about that like we're all conditioned very in a very similar way. Ultimately, we're all very similar in how we speak, how we think, how we breathe. We're all very similar because we're humans. You look at the cats, they're all very similar. And then there's the question of freedom, and that's why I don't script anything. I don't even think it through too much. Like today, I was gonna go through the old neural pathways and maybe download some of those disinfo shills. I was looking at Joe Rogan last night with Metzger, and I just thought, yet again, I want to show how they never put the two on screen together. What's the point of having people go visit Rogan in Austin, Texas? What's the point of that if we can't see them eye to eye? I don't get it. I don't see how they're getting away with this, other than through myself as an example. I'm not the example, but I am an example of what is going on with the internet. I've always been an example, and I'm doing this in a selfless way. I understand that there's nothing permanent about me. No one even knows my real name. No one knows and when I'm singing, it's like unless someone listens to me a number of times and they give me a little bit of benefit of doubt, they're not going to notice how good I am at it. Why would someone like me be jealous of anyone? Why why should any no one should be jealous of anyone else? That's for starters. Death is the ultimate equalizer. There's a lot of humility to the fact that we die. It means we must surrender to it the way the plants and animals do, not to be like wild vicious animals or not to be passive flowers and the plant the stuff that's alive, but they have no brains, or maybe they do. I never really looked into it. I mentioned the octopus yesterday. I don't have a clue. I don't know how they're able to pull that off. Well, but then again, I can stay on that thought, and it's not that difficult to see how they do it, especially after getting into the Tai Chi the last few years. I've upped my game. I'm now doing. It hurt at first, but this week I started to do a second. I do over a half an hour session for my Tai Chi, and now I've added a second one. I do the Qigong Shibashi, so anyone can look into that and see exactly what I'm doing. And I have a video in here where I show the woman who I learned it from her video. I slowed her down. I slowed it down, and so I got my breathing going. And I'd love to teach. I liked it the way it was. I loved it. I loved the way we thought it was back in the day with the internet, where we didn't have to think about COINTELPRO and being observed and everything being recorded, and we're talking the people we the random people we thought we were talking to were actually military intelligence effing with us, and then we find out they have this ability to have the computers rattle out sentences for them. And I always wondered once in the last couple of years when I realized everything's being actually scripted. I'm not talking outlines or notes or a general consensus of where a discussion's headed. I'm talking about they have mapped it all out. And it's one thing to have a lecturer up at a podium and he's got his lecture notes or he has the whole thing written out. Who knows? I used to be up there. I could have ended up doing that. I used to like to have some notes because I can glance down at a note and it'll just like internally wake me up or get me back on track. So that's definitely and a social worker helped me with she helped me with the executive skill of taking notes. So I was unable to put two and two together, but now I have because I got that help that I could trust. And so I think it's okay to have notes and to keep one on track, but that the person speaking should be alive. It should be in the it sh- we I shouldn't. I'm sick and tired of seeing that people are reading off of something and they don't have any soul. It's like wake the f up and stop being a tool. Um, so this has been going pretty well so far. The last, I think, let me look at the Audacity to see how much I put to get. So I'm already over 11 minutes, which is probably a lot less, maybe less than that, because I don't know when I started talking. Damn, I hate it when I make that type of mistake. All right, and then I'd have to stop the recording. All right, I have to hit the pause for a second. Okay, so there's only about 20 seconds at the beginning where I didn't start yet. So it's been about 11 minutes. I stopped doing editing. So that's pretty good. 11 minutes. All I'm trying to do is show an example of someone being spontaneous and original and someone who doesn't think they're better than you or anyone else, and and that I'm just using the medium that I was conditioned to use. I guess I can say use with using in the same sentence, even though it still that still felt a little like diction. Um, I I'm doing a lot better in life because I've been able to flip. I've been able to get out of my head so much. I'm able to. Um, I'm really. I guess I'm gonna vouch for cognitive behavioral therapy. Like we can actually create new neural pathways. It just means we don't have to do what we were doing. We don't have to react. We don't. So I'm not going to go through exactly what I experienced for changing internally and having better habits, but it basically means coming to terms with impulse versus compulsion. So there are things we have to do, we have to respond. Like there's a genocide going on, we feel we have to respond. And then the gaslighting is where it you actually don't want it. You're better off not responding because there's nowhere to respond. And where one might think that's the response area, no, it's fake. It's rigged. Those yes, there's a genocides going on and all this injustice going on, but there's nowhere to discuss it. So we were conditioned to discuss it, to get involved, to be the good model citizen, so to speak. But it's over. And then through my shtick, one can see an example. And I'm trying to say, I got no ego. I got no narcissism. I got autism. I have autism, attention deficit, and social anxiety. So I was doomed. There was no way I was ever going to get through those interviews. There's no way. And then there's the details within when I came close to success for a job, and then the injustice to the one person, to the individual. So like I go on the internet and then there's injustice toward me again. And that's what we share. That's what we would share if someone knows who I am. We would share the context, or I'm willing to discuss it with anyone, the context of the rigged internet, which I've been discussing since 2007. And back then it was daily costs versus Breitbart. We were funneled. So now we were funneled into YouTube, Reddit, Twitter. Before then, we had been funneled into Daily Costs or Breitbart. Now there was other websites, but they were in cahoots. So you'd have Raw Story in cahoots with Daily Cost, and down the line are Crooks and Liars. I could probably rattle off some Democratic Underground. That place turned out to be run by the DNC, the Dinos, the Democrat in name only people. It became really easy for me to cyber sleuth back then. You can't do it nowadays. No, I mean you could, but there's nowhere to go with your info, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a lot more difficult to use the internet to research much. Back then, though, I cyber sleuthed them pretty good. And one of the last things I was doing at Twitter before they banned me, I was searching NSA Twitter, and I was finding losers putting up in their profile that they're from the NSA, and it was like in 2012 they all signed up, and I was able to. I mean, they did it. All I needed was a platform to. All I've ever needed was platforms to present my work. So like right now, I work. I do work. Work isn't about you work and you get a paycheck. Work is a energy. So forget the money and forget the. I'm breathing in. It's getting a little hyper overexcited. Myself putting together all that music, those songs over the last couple of years, that was work. I did it. I pulled it off. I know I did. I listened to it a little bit, a lot, I'd say, because I just want to know whether I was in tune and whether it made sense, and it does to me. So I'm happy with that, and that's why I don't sing as much lately, because I feel that confident. I don't have to do it. I don't even know. I'll just get lost trying to figure out what song to sing next. But that was fun. That was fun uh putting together the different octaves. It helped me as a human. It helped me as a human to figure out the range of sounds, cuz sound as an aspie, sound is my biggest issue without doubt. Sound overwhelms me. So it's both good, and sound is both good and bad for me. I don't hate sound. I hate sounds if I don't like them, right? It's like I'm not agoraphobic. I'm not afraid of going outside. I'm afraid of the I'm afraid of the interactions with people. I don't want them. I don't want them unless they're legitimate. And if something's not legitimate, I want it fixed. But it's a trap. So it doesn't matter that Jenna Beck, for example, is a disgusting junkie trash bitch who I exposed, and I took my time and I kept looking at the video, and that's frickin' her. That's frickin' her freaking out in the Dairy Queen. Yeah, and Scott Ritter was busted at least twice for being one of those pedophile types. The pedophile going for the teenager types. I'm not saying he's going for toddlers. but I guess it's cultural, and it's probably a good thing to call them pedophiles if they're going like Bill Belichick is basically a pedophile. What he's doing now, I don't want to downplay the real the real sickness. It's all sickness, and it's not like Brittany's a more the statutory rape is clearly not as bad. Nowhere, it's definitely a different. See, I don't even want to discuss this, but that's those are my that's my disorders. I got autism and attention deficit. That's it. Case closed. I mean, in the social anxiety too, in the specific context of my experience, the memory I have, and my propensity to hyperfocus, and like I want to go into Krishnamurti. It doesn't seem one person responded on Krishnamurti lately, and that was interesting. I like that. Um, I think and then a separate person or two, I think made a good comment there about the disinfo shill angle I have, and I mean, I think what I did was pretty good. I was looking back in the archive, and that Whitney Webb with Graham Elwood, I did like a two-parter, and then I did the animal song. I'm an animal. I think that was pretty good. I think that pretty much proves. I think I did very well overall proving the scripted nature, and I think I also did a good job leading the students. I'm not saying I'm your teacher and you're a student. I'm just saying talking out loud, trying to make this original, spontaneous content. None of this is personal. I mean, it is personal because we're all based in the person. We're all a person, a separate person. It's called freedom. We have the same hardware, but we're not going into any of that stuff. I'm trying to keep it simple and wrap it up at where I'm trying to not have the neural pathways were telling me F them, F this, I hate their guts, uh, things like that. Things not positive. I'll put it that way. It's a trap to sleuth them. I have to just tell myself I wasn't that great and they were probably giving me 90% of the crap I came up with. They probably doxed Hal Turner. They probably did they did it. There's probably never any anonymous, and that was all a lie. They were like, "Oh, we'll make fake leaks." So they made the fake leaks, HB Gary and all that crap, and which just so happened to boost Brad Blog, Raw Story, and so it all becomes an internal looping system. I used to refer to it as demented medium loops. So I was becoming this social scientist within a rigged internet system. So I was pretty good at it, and I had success here and there. I'm sure I mean, you can just look at that Howard Stern video I made. Like it's like 25,000 views, and I bet it's a lot. It should be a lot more than that. It's like it, that's probably my best video, right? Or the best like mainstream across the board video that should go. I mean, that should really have like 1 million views. So I think that's showing that I'm shadow banned. I mean, the crap I'm coming up with here, I think it shows that people are afraid to comment, which I don't blame them. And I also think I'm being shadow banned, and I think they play around with the page views because even though it's a very humble channel and I'm not expecting huge page views ever anyway. I see certain videos locked at a certain number for like months and months, and I'm like, what? How can something how can something be at like 125 page views for like half a year? So it was like 125 page views for its cycle, right? When it first comes out. And then it just stopped. Not from that long ago. I think it was like the those songs I did in the back, like the too much to dream last night. It was just like locked at 125 or whatever views, or the classic where it'll be locked at 33 views for seemingly forever. I'm just saying if I'm getting like 50, I get like I can tell like what songs I did better at because the views seem to be a bit higher. So it's like a catalog value for stamps. Those aren't the real, that's not reality, those values, but it gives an idea, it gives a ratio. So I mean that prune song, you'd think if someone's like, all right, I'll listen to a tune, like, all right, I'll listen to that. Or like Annie's song, John Denver, those songs there, they just stop, they freeze. You'd think it wouldn't take long for someone to scroll to like certain sections of where the songs were at, right? And then you think like those things would move. I'm not saying they move a lot, but they should move at least a little bit. You'd think there'd be like at least one John Denver fan who would go like, "Oh, all right, I'll listen to Annie's song." Let's see, some over 27 minutes. That's not bad for. I think that's not too bad. It means I was off the internet. It's almost 7:30 a.m. So I've already done Tai Chi, and then later on before I go to bed I'll do it again. Some point later today I'll do it again. And that's over an hour of the day for me, and so that's pretty good, and that's positive stuff that makes me healthy and slows down my breathing. It'll help my singing. I think I I think what we're supposed to do now going forward is to go off grid as much as possible. So we have to ditch the electricity. We have to go back to writing things down on paper and keeping things away from others. And we can't trust people anymore. I'm sorry, we can't trust them because even though it's a really small fraction of people who are in on it, so to speak. Nearly everyone's in on it because they're conditioned, and they show no signs of breaking conditioning. So anyway, I'll wrap it up with that I'm doing pretty good because I dropped my resistance and I'm willing to let my mind go into healthier directions, and I'm not ditching what I came up with, and I'm not apologizing for it. And I sort of do wish I could go back. I could continue like that and just keep ripping into them, but it's nauseating. I can't stomach their arm waving anymore. I have to I think Chrome figured out how to get defy the ad blocker. So now thank you Googs and YouTube for You've now convinced me that I have to get off of Chrome, finally. You've convinced me that I have to get off the internet more. I mean, I've already been convinced of this over the last several couple years here, and people should. Anyone who's been following me throughout these years, checking in, or you know who I am from like my presence. Like I noticed some people around the internet over years, but because of my bad memory, my attention deficit memory, I don't really. Well, because I'm nonconformist, I don't really. These people are gone. There's nothing real about the internet, and anyone who's getting any type of page views, they can't be trusted. Nothing can be trusted. I have zero respect for anyone reading off of a script, especially if you're hiding it, especially if you're going out of your way to make so no one can see your eyeballs moving, but you're reading. Like F you, you're nothing. If you can't talk without a script, then go F yourselves. See, I'm going heading down negativity again. So there's probably no cure. There seems to be no cure for my social anxiety. There's definitely no cure for the autism ADHD, and so I try to bring out the positives of that, and I do care. Ultimately, deep down, I'm good. So I do care about everyone except for those who are in on it. But of course, uh, I said that people don't have to be in on it to be in on it. So it becomes very unsettling. It's a life becomes gaslighting in itself. Okie dokie. That'll wrap it up. Just over 32 minutes. That should do it. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye. This has been Tokyo Champ, and he's trying to live a healthier, saner, more sociable, good guy life for what remains of it. Take care. Good luck. Bye bye.